Hey there, my name is V. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to a new episode of this stealth mini game that we make from scratch. Today we're going to work on the dialogue system. It's going to be dynamic and it's going to be split in different parts. At the end of this series we will have this. We have a dynamic dialogue, as you can see here, and then we can press a key and continue with the dialogue. We have this type of animation where we can see the letters coming one by one, and then we have like this type of dialogue between two people, the robot and a mysterious voice that we don't know who it is. As you can see, we have the dialogue and also we have the name of the character on top. And a nice animation at the end. So we're gonna generate this type of system and it's gonna be reusable, and I'm using tables, the data tables, to populate the dialogues. In this first part, we're gonna have different elements. We're gonna have a C++ InGameUI class, a widget blueprint extending from that C++ class, a hide and show animation, and a temporary test to test all of this. First, let me show you the final UI. As you can see, is this one right here with this simple animation which goes up and that sound. All of that is going to be on blueprint, on the widget blueprint. And here I have my final widget blueprint. This widget blueprint is based on InGameUI C++ class. And it's basically, it has a few elements. It has a normal canvas panel, another canvas panel, a box, light box. We have the text and the character name. And we also have this simple animation that we can control on the blueprint. So very simple, but let me show you first the C++ class, and then we can construct this widget blueprint based on that together. Okay, the C++ class is simple. It extends from user widget. Remember, to create one of these, you just simply right click on this content browser, new C++ class, show all classes to find that one, and you just need to go and find the widget, user widget, that one. Then you can select that one and place a name. InGameUI. It won't allow me to create a different one because this is my one. But simply that. So you set that name and create the class. We have two elements. A uText block, which is the player dialog text block when we show the message, and here we have the character name. Then we also have some blueprint implementable blueprints. One on animation show message UI, which we can use to trigger that animation. The same for hide, and then show on hide message. This is just to show the message or to hide it. And I have two different blueprint events because it's easy to control this way. Then we have two simple public functions to set the message for this message and to set the character name. That's why I have the C++ class, because I am going to control this from another C++ class, and if I have C++ class in both sides, it's easy to control. Otherwise, you can access to the blueprint. Okay, let's go to the CPP, and there's nothing difficult here, so it's just the body of the message and the set character name. I always like to do these null checks in both and simply set the text, this f string text, using the uText block, text, and then we need to have this cast. So we need to convert from a string to ftext because this text only accepts ftext. So we do this casting from a string using that. Let's move on now and create a widget blueprint based on that C++ class. So very simple, just right click, user interface, widget blueprint. Then we can set a name. I'm gonna set it with number 2. And now we can start constructing things. Okay, we're gonna extend from that C++ class. And this is very important. As you can see here, we have 2 elements, uText block, player dialog text block, and character name. So before we reparented this widget blueprint, we need to create these 2 elements first in. Okay, let's create first the character name. It's important to have the same name. So let's take this, copy and paste, which is easy. Yeah, that. We are going to create the other one. We can use the anchors to do this, to set the position. I'm just gonna do it there. And then the other one is called player dialog text block. Okay, so we have both and we are ready to do the reparenting. So for that, we just go to graph, class settings, and instead of this user widget, we want the InGameUI, this one. Okay, compile and everything is perfect. If you don't do this step first, it might crash or it will give you an error. So do it this way and you won't have any. Okay, so I'm gonna just check how this one is done. So we have an overlay right there. We have the dialog canvas, and yeah, so we can do something similar. So let's create first the dialog box, the box, which is a size canvas, and that's the one I'm going to use to animate everything. So can do that, and I like to use these elements. Okay, right there. And then set the position. I normally play with this alignment. There. Let's make it bigger like that. Move it around that. We can then create an overlay so we can put different elements inside each object. Okay, and okay, we can use again this and include everything inside, and then we can add an image like I have there inside the overlay. These are very handy. This means just use everything, and now you can use just a simple color, or you can use an image. So I have this one, so I'm gonna use this one, with no color. Okay, and finally I'm going to move the text inside here. Okay, then we can do the same. And if we want to have some space, what I will do is just set some padding. Okay, that's a bit. Okay, let's move this inside the bed. So everything is inside. Let's recolor that. Okay, and we can again use the alignment, so we can set the name. And I will normally place some placeholder name to know what exactly is each element. So nothing there, and the same for this. Mistakes. Okay, well, you can spend more time and make it even more nicer. Like this, I spent quite a time doing this. But with this, everything is ready. We can make this even bigger because everything is inside this canvas panel. If I make this, and I'm using anchors, so everything moves together, which is nice. We can also maybe put it there. Okay, like that. Perfect. Let's create now that small animation that we have here. So it's that. And it does, as you can see, it starts in this position, then goes up, and then goes down. So it will make this kind of nice bounce movement. Very, very easy. Okay, so first we need to select the element that we are going to animate. My case is this one. Let me change the name so it's easy to have everything under control. And also I don't like this type of names, they are way too generic. Okay, so with that we can even set something like, so it's even here. Okay, first, so we have this element selected. Now down here we have the animation, so we can create one animation and we can set dialog in, for example. Now we go to the timeline and we have to create a new track. Because we have selected the dialog box canvas animated, we have the elements right here. So I will select this one. Okay. And now we need to set what property we want to animate. In our case, we just want to move from the first IY position to the last one. For that, we just need the transform. And inside here we have different elements. We want the translation, so first we need to set that in the first position, which is this one. These dots right there means that the first position is recorded, but if not, we can use this element to add a new one. Make sure to do that. So next we are going to do the second step, which we're going to go around there, and then we can move the element. I find easier to work with this, otherwise I think you can use these elements, but I think this is way easy. So I'm just gonna move it there around, yeah. And the last is just right there maybe, and move it to the final position, maybe there, and it will look like this. That's nice. Okay, that is ready. Now we can start using this animation on the event graph. And if you remember, we have some events on C++. We have these ones on animation show message and hide animation. Let's first start with the animation show message. Right click and find that event. So we can type event on animation show, and we have all of our custom events right here. So we can use that one. And then right here, as you can see, you have the animations and all the public variables. We go back to that. The only way to see all of those elements there is if we set these elements as public. For example, this one was there, so if I am not going to use any of that on the graph, I will just not have it as a variable. Makes things clean. Okay. So with this animation, we can drag it, get, and we can just play animation. Simple as that. So start time, no loops, play mode forward. Just do that. Okay. And now for the hide, we do the same. We need an animation hide message. And here we don't need to create a new animation because we're going to reuse the same one. So same thing. We drag that there, play animation, and this is the cool thing because we have this play mode forward. We can just do reverse and it will do the opposite. So before we move on to the last part, which is create the widget blueprint and test, we are going to do one more thing, one little touch, which is add a sound when the animation dialog in is being played. So simple as play sound 2D, and then we just need to select a sound. And I only have that one. You can set anything. So yeah, as soon as we call this on animation show message, it will play the sound and then it will do the animation. So it's kind of cool. We'll have everything together. Now to test this, we need to first create the widget blueprint, and then we need to make a small test to show that hello world and a name and the character name. And we're going to do this part on code. And for that, to create a widget blueprint, is a good idea to use the player controller. In the player controller, we have all the things related to the input, and right down below we have a section for the UI. So this is the class InGameUI. So this is going to be the reference to the object, and it's going to be the of type InGameUI, like the class. Then we have a InGameUI class. This is going to be the widget, and this can be handy if we want to access the element from other classes. It's just a normal getter. Now if we go to the CPP, we can do two things. We can set this reference on the blueprint, or in C++ we have another way. So we can use the constructor helpers to find a specific class or blueprint, and as long as we know the place and we don't move this often, this is completely fine. So it's always start on the game, then I have a subfolder called game UI, and this is the name of the class. Important to make the null check. In this case, I'm accessing the class through the blueprint and making the reference there. So the path, as you can see, is game UI, game, so game, then game again, and UI. And I'm referring to this one, but for this one we just need that name. And one thing we could do is just right click, copy reference, go back to the code and use that. So we just need to remove all of this and that, and replace this inside that. Okay. Now, then in the begin plane is where we are going to create this widget and create the test. So basically, if this is not null, we create the widget. Again, if this is not null, then we add it to the viewport. And here's the test. We use the set assets and the set character name functions. Hello world, blue robot, and on animation show message UI. So this means that as soon as we press play, it will do these steps and show that. Now if we press play, that's what's going to happen. So it's going to use this one, not my one, but the process is exactly this. There we go. Well, we can still move around. So in the next video we will improve this. We will make probably the robot not move at all while the dialogue is there. We will do the animation the letter by letter, all those type of things. That's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Please share, subscribe, like, it helps. Thanks for watching and see you next time on the next video. Bye!